Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. My name is Don Swiker. I'm the chairman of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. To my left, I have Mike Steinis. To my right, I have Ben Flegel.
Morning.
Bjorn from IT, Lisa from the auditor's office, Luann in the back is our executive assistant, Brittany from the press, and online we have two people, Dan Fox and Charlie. Could you please identify yourself with your last name so we know who we can keep attendance?
Hi there. My name's Charlie White. I'm with RM Capital Ventures.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me on board.
Is that W-H-I-T-E? White was the last name?
Weiss, isn't it? White or
White
Weiss?
is in the color.
As in the color.
As in the color. Okay, thank you. He's been here before if I'm not, yeah. So first up, we got a public hearing on the budget amendment. Oh,
Dan, can you identify yourself?
well, I read his name out, so.
Hi, this is Dan Fox. I'm with ECIA.
Okay. All right, next up, we got public hearing on the budget amendment. So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Welcome, Shelley.
Good morning.
Have we received, you want to go ahead and kind of briefly summarize?
Mostly we're amending for a replacement vehicle for sanitation and for additional costs for the drill equipment for sanitation. Because we did not spend any money last year, there's no sense in amending both years. So we're just amending for this year for the total cost of the drill equipment. And the zoning department is buying a truck from Secondary Roads for $17,000. We're going to replace the IBM server that's in the auditor's office. We thought that we could hold off until next fiscal year, but we're being told that, no, we probably should plan on purchasing it in this fiscal year. So that's why that's amending for that. And we're paying out the final jail construction costs for Stronghold and for the Ashley Henson grant. And I believe, and we're also accounting for additional RCTP expense. That was last year, two years ago, RCTP funds, but it got delayed, so now we're paying it this year.
All right, anybody receive any feedback, questions, comments?
Did you mention the fair expense or the correct line there, what, 82,000 for?
We're not, I didn't mention that because all it's doing is moving money from one service area to another.
Correct.
So it's just movement of money around.
Okay, and I just want to add to that, I have not received any calls or questions regarding it, but the drill equipment, just so the public knows, that's for soil sampling, for septic systems and such, and you're going to charge for that. So that's kind of an asset to the county that we don't have to try to make arrangements for somebody to be there from out of county, out of state to soil sample, and she's willing to do that. So it makes it kind of nice. We have the equipment, and I think we may be sharing some of that equipment at some point.
I received nothing.
I've heard nothing, so. Anybody here want to add a comment concerning anything?
And the Ashley grant funding is being
Reimbursed.
We get reimbursed for
right.
it, yeah. But we have to have it budgeted in order to spend it.
Okay.
I guess I didn't hear dollars for some of those things. Is the
Stand up, introduce yourself.
George Doherty? And my question was, are there dollars attached to like the computer server and some of the other things that wasn't mentioned?
Well, the computer server we're budgeting 70,000 for it. Well, triples. The replacement vehicle for sanitation was 30,600. And the drill equipment, we're amending this year's budget for $15,000 for a total of 42,000 for the actual drill. 17,000 for the zoning purchase of the truck. The strongholds, an additional $104,684 out of the general fund, and taking the rest of the bond money for stronghold, 10,240,000, and the Henson grant, the final cost for that is $35,495. And then the extra RCTP money is 13,301.
Any other questions?
Am I correct in saying this was all published too, correct? It was in the
Yes.
paper, yes.
Yes.
And we have
I
a
mean,
list
the
here if
last
you want to
few.
see it. Any other discussion on the public hearing?
Hearing none, I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
I'd second that.
Motion by Mike, second by Nan to close the public hearing on the budget amendment. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
With the closing of the public hearing, and if it is your wish, I would need a motion to approve resolution number 1141-09-09-2025 for the amendment to the county budget for fiscal year 25-26, and authorize the chair and auditor signatures on the record of hearing and certified to the state of Iowa. I would make that motion.
No second.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to approve resolution number 1141-09-09-2025 for the amendment to the county budget for fiscal year 25-26, and authorize the chair and auditor signatures on the record of hearing and certified to the state of Iowa. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. All right. We got that done. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is visitors and citizens. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board today? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Next up, we
Wait a
got,
minute.
yes, ma'am. Stand up, identify yourself. Tell us what we can do for you.
My name is Rhonda Rowan. I live in Spreadville, Iowa.
Mhm.
I'm here to voice my concerns regarding the data mining, which I hope that the zoning commission and the board of supervisors will take into consideration setbacks from the nearest dwelling and also fire suppression, as these are two great concerns that I have regarding data mining. So if you could just take that into consideration, I greatly would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have on the agenda extending the moratorium at this time until we get our ordinance in place, so.
Well,
That
I'm
is something.
aware.
Okay.
I mean, you have time to speak then too.
Yeah.
If you
Yes.
desire.
Anybody else? All right, then we'll turn it over to Becca flew out from zoning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Speaking of which.
Speaking of which, next order of business.
Yes, ma'am.
So the data processing, data mining ordinance, when a previous resolution was adopted, the plan was to work on the data mining ordinance concurrently with the comprehensive zoning ordinance update. We quickly realized that that was too much to task the zoning commission with, especially while they were also hearing regular zoning cases. The zoning ordinance update is now nearing completion with a public hearing that will be scheduled for October 20th. Once that is finished, the commission will be able to devote full attention to drafting the data mining ordinance. This timeline with the new resolution to approve the moratorium will ensure that the ordinance will be developed carefully with adequate review so that what we are putting forth is a strong, workable ordinance.
Good. So this one, you have, it's got what, 6 months, it expires, you'll have this, what you're proposing
Well,
goes through the end of March?
right, because we pretty much won't be able to start on it until the November meeting.
Okay.
Will that give you ample amount of time?
It has a pretty good start with it right
Okay.
now.
I mean, I know when we first started, we had ample questions, regarding mostly usage, safety issues like the public spoke here, as far as
Cooling
noise
features,
and
noise and
whatnot, but our major concern that was brought up was the usage. Can we do this and not affect incoming businesses and such for, you know, for improvements.
Or
Yeah.
limitations.
Correct, yes. And that is something that I can do also in the background to be able to have it ready to present to the zoning commission. It's just not something we want to keep continuing to drag out and pushing it back and pushing.
Just one thing I'd like to do is, you know, I'm not a big fan of doing these in like 6 months increments,
Mhm.
especially if it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge to kind of get working. You can't start till maybe November, depending on how the zoning thing goes. So I'd be more apt to go. I know we've had them end at the fiscal year, like June 30th, or we go for a 1 year type of thing, just to make sure we get it.
We
But
can always
as,
pull it back.
yeah, we can
Right.
always end it earlier, but as we hear for our counterparts to the south, as you keep extending it without really showing some kind of progress,
Mhm.
they can utilize where you're
Yeah.
not negotiating in good faith. We don't want to do that, or we're not trying to make any progress. We don't want this.
Sure.
So I do want to get it go, but I think I would like a little bit farther out, like a June 30th or a year from now kind of stipulation, knowing that we will get something done in that time.
Yeah, that's great feedback. I do. think
I would tend to agree. I mean, you know, the holiday months, you almost lose a month and a half,
Yeah.
you know, in the winter time. And we got budget season, which we're booked almost daily. As far as we go, and I know you're a zoning board too. I hate to put pressure on them, but I think there's a lot of information to find there too. And I would agree with Don, you know, if you want to do it till August 31st, 26.
Yeah, that makes sense. And especially if we do get it done sooner, we don't have to necessarily.
No,
We don't
yeah,
have
then
to
we
stick
could,
to that
then we
timeframe.
could,
Yeah.
we could take moratorium off anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
That way you can focus on working on it, and not trying to redo this every, you know.
And again, that is not saying that you don't want to start it as soon as you can and.
Right,
you don't
oh,
have to,
definitely.
You know, because it's
Yeah,
gonna take time and
So
Right.
are we agreeing on August 31st, 26?
I would make that motion, yes.
Okay, with amended.
This is a resolution, so
Yeah.
the resolution
Okay.
1142 -09-09-2025.
At this resolution number as amended with the date change.
So when you're done here, tell Shelley to change the date.
okay.
Yeah.
So is that your motion?
Yes.
Second.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to approve resolution number 1142-09-09-2025. A resolution approving moratorium for data mining as amended to extend the moratorium through August 31st, 2026. Any other discussion?
I'd like to discuss this. This is Charlie with RM Capital Ventures.
Yes.
Fine with having this pushed back as far as the timeline and getting it done. But Becca, were you able to open the videos I sent you on our new HW5 cooling?
I did get a couple of them opened, yes. And
Okay.
they're yes, they are the same ones that you already showed me, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I would ask that if we are going to talk about setbacks, that it would not be measured in feet, that it would be measured in decibels, as we are able to even get quieter than the videos that I have already provided you, Becca. We could go with what's called immersion cooling, which basically is just an air conditioning unit. So that's all I ask.
Okay, we appreciate that, and I'm sure zoning will take that into account.
Yeah, definitely.
And when we get working on this, because we got between that and solar and
Battery storage.
battery storage, we get
Mhm.
zoning. We should have some kind of supper for them or something, because they've been earning their money. So,
Yeah, I appreciate Charlie speaking up and know that there's new things on the horizon that could better your situation or whatnot, but I get, we have to take it all into consideration, of course, and again, see what all our factors will be before we decide.
Yeah,
So
definitely
I
appreciate
appreciate
that.
the new information anyway. I have not seen the video.
Definitely. No, I will get it all out.
all right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, Charlie. All right, next up, you got another one.
I do, and Dan Fox is also on for the ECI contract for the technical services. So that is,
Morning, Dan.
Morning, everybody.
There
Do
you
you
go.
need to explain that, or do you want to go through that?
so this contract, we feel, is an investment with, keeping the zoning operations running smoothly, but also in setting up the new zoning administrator for long-term success. This will give direct support from a seasoned zoning ordinance planners and zoning planners while still being the zoning administrator will still be the point of contact for the public. So it just will keep things running smoothly throughout the transition.
And so the way I gather it, since you moved into the zoning administrator
Mhm.
position,
Mhm.
there is the zoning assistant position that is vacant.
Correct.
And this is utilizing those budgeted funds to utilize a subject matter expert up at ECIA. As you take the helm and get things going, you have an expert source that you can refer to and rely on to kind of help fill in a gap and for a year.
Yeah.
Until we decide where we go with that position in the future.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that if I could. So just to explain slightly, the action or the assistant or the contract's gonna read it's worth up to X amount of dollars, which we have a figure in of $30,000, which half is being covered by ECIA. So $15,000 is being covered by ECIA. So we don't have an employee,
Mhm.
we don't have the benefits,
Mhm.
but we do have the assets and the expertise to help in minimal situations where, you're not been on the job for
Right.
20 years like somebody else. We appreciate your diligence and hard work, and we understand that you found out this takes a lot more time than what you had allocated for. So,
Well, you got, as we just talked about, you have big things coming down the
Yes.
pipe, so what we can do to support you, whether it be a full-time person like was there, or through this contract, we'll do what, I feel we should do what we can to support you and set you up for success,
Thank you so
because
much.
so far, you've been a success.
I just think it's a win-win for us because of the fact of the what our cost would be to have another employee and her assistant and benefits and all the above. I don't know, Dan, you can lead to that, but she's helped us with our whole rewriting our whole ordinance before, and it took a lot of years of experience to do that.
Right.
So
So that, do we hear
is there anything else you'd like to add, Dan, or no, that's?
No, I think you guys got it figured out. I don't have anything else to add. I think this will be Laura Carson's working primarily on this project. She has over 30 years experience in the planning and zoning field. And as you mentioned, she has worked with the county on the county comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance. So
she knows there's zoning ordinance inside now.
Yeah.
So that's a huge knowledge boost right there.
And then she keeps up with the new stuff too, it's like she's been around, she got the 30 years experience, but she also knows the new stuff, so she's good at putting it together. I would make a motion to approve the ECIA technical assistant contract as presented.
I would second that.
We got a motion by Mike, second by Nin, to approve the ECIA technical assistance contract between the ECIA and the zoning office as presented. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Yeah.
Good luck. Keep up the good work. You bet.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Next up, we have George Doherty with Jackson County Pioneer Cemetery Commission.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One.
I'm here today to discuss Sweezy Cemetery.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that name.
Sweezy.
Okay.
It's on Highway 61, about 3 miles south of Otter Creek.
Okay.
If you're going north, it's on the left-hand side. This cemetery is about 2 acres in size. About 40% of it is used for burials, and the other 60% is basically a hayfield at this point. And the question in front of us is the Mayberry Farm has a lane that goes right alongside the north side of the cemetery. And on that lane, there is a utility pole with 3 meters. And for safety reasons, they would like to move that utility pole and the meters to the edge of the cemetery in the section that is the hayfield portion. And I don't know if you're trying to pull that up, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. might be helpful. Yeah, I wait.
So would the utility pole be on the property line or on cemetery property or?
So there's a fence that's 20 feet in from the boundary line of the cemetery because there's an easement
That's
to,
the cemetery right there, isn't it?
there's an easement for another neighbor's shed in the back corner of that cemetery. So it's just,
Where's the pole at?
pole right now is you see that lane going past there, it's on the north side of that, just about where your arrow is, right in there, yes. Okay, and that utility shed is owned by a different owner. So what the question is can we move that utility pole into the far corner of the cemetery? Again, there's no burials in that corner. And it's for safety reasons because the pole starts over on the northeast side and goes across the road and it's in the way for moving large farm equipment back and forth to the fields.
So my question is,
You're proposing to put it over here on this corner right there.
Correct,
So you're going across the lane
yes.
and that's not gonna affect this property here.
So the cemetery property is extended, the fence line shows that, well, there's a white fence and then the wire fence. So the wire fence is 20 feet in from the boundary line of the cemetery. That's because there's an easement was granted to the individual that has that shed on the west side. So
It's more gonna affect that property than it will this property. I mean,
and it's not
It
gonna,
won't bring us.
it wouldn't affect
as
the,
far as heights wise or anything, no.
right, it's not gonna, it shouldn't affect the property with the shed.
Wait, the request is being done to remove the lines going from where his cursor is now, across that lane. Or if they're taking an auger or something up there that they're not having to worry about going under the power line.
Correct, and also the entrance between the gates is small enough so that with large equipment, they can't get through there easily. As it stands now. So if we move it into the cemetery, we can't put it on the outside of the fence because that is an easement for the person that owns the shed. So it would have to go on the inside of the fence. And,
so my question
okay,
is there a cost to move it and who's paying it?
so the Mayberries have agreed to pay for the cost to move it. There's not a cost to us. I've talked to them and they've agreed to put a gate in that far corner if the REC would need an access to it. And they've also agreed to repair the fence, that wire fence as needed as they work through that process.
The only other question I have, is there a legal precedence about allowing something in a pioneer cemetery? Because once it's designated a pioneer cemetery, is there protective status with the state and you can only do certain things?
I have to say I haven't researched that.
That would be my own, it's kind of like if you're historically restoring a house and you kind of have to get certain paints, you got to use certain, there's restrictions to it. That's my question. That's my only other question is, in a pioneer cemetery,
Okay.
once it's designated a pioneer cemetery, is there a restriction on use for utility pole, because that'll be a permanent thing or what, that would be my question. Is there some kind of legal restriction?
I actually have a couple questions too, George.
Down.
Okay.
Sure.
So all the neighbors are in favor and all been contacted about this and they're all approve of this?
Sue, do you have an answer?
It doesn't affect anyone other than us. We own the red house.
Okay, and is there a liability issue with us with having the pole on our land?
And just introduce yourself,
I'm sorry,
sorry.
Sue Mayberry.
just for record purposes.
Just to explain, we can't go on the other side. That is our drain field. So we can't move those farther to the north.
No, yeah, I don't really have an issue with it. I just wanna make sure we're covered here. Is there an issue with utility and insurance wise to have the pole? Is the utility company responsible for all that? I mean, as far as,
Do you know that? Sue?
I mean,
They're
okay.
going to. Yeah, they're going to take care of it. We're working with Bruin Electric. And they are kind of our middleman between us and REC. And so they will get it figured out, putting it in the right place, but.
Yeah.
In our newsletter that we had just gotten, they don't really like the idea of those wires going across. And the reason why that was put there to begin with was because not originally, but when that shed was put up, at that time, the person in the red house owned the shed. And so, he wasn't farming, but had that wire across. And now we've got like a 72-foot auger. And anyway, I didn't bring that with me from REC, but there's clearances and we're not really within those clearances with our machinery getting underneath those wires.
Okay, so to get to that pole services just for the shed, or does that service your house too? Are you still gonna have wires across?
I think there's two there, and I think one is for the house and one is for the shed. We're moving both of them over.
So there's actually three.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's three.
One is for the house, one is for the shed, and one is for a utility or barns on, out further in the field. So, and they'd all three be trenched underneath the road.
Okay,
And so
That's what I was-
yeah, so that shouldn't be an issue. The only other concern I have, and we haven't answered the question, is what kind of an easement will REC request if we put it on our property?
right.
Can it go just north of the fence, but right along the fence? Because quite often you see utility poles on a fence line.
So if we put it in, well, we can't do that because that's an easement for the person that owns the shed. So we would be
No,
potentially,
like our fence, right, is you come from the highway, you make the 90-degree, you come up right there in that corner. No, where you go back, follow along that road to the west.
The white fence out.
All the way down, yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. It's right there in that corner, not right there. Just bring it down, put it on the fence row.
On the outside, it would be
On the
basically
outside.
not in your Pioneer Cemetery, it'd be whoever owns the right.
well, we own that 20-foot easement on that side, on the north side of the fence.
Okay,
And that easement is for the gentleman that owns the shed to be able to access that.
I don't think it would inhibit him accessing the shed.
If
Well,
there's a
it's-
fence
it would-
post there,
it would
there's
still-
already.
It would still be on our property.
Right. But
But
and
outside
that's
the
what my
fence.
question was, though, are we sure of liability? I mean, I don't want to bring up silly scenarios, but somebody driving through there and a utility pole falls over. Whose fault? Is it utility pole? Is it the landowner? Is it the utility pole? I mean, it sounds silly, but
Yeah, that I don't know. We should be able to get that information from REC.
And
yeah,
my understanding, George, just so I'm clear. So there's really to the. I don't know what direction that is even. That's the only,
east toward the.
only burials is the ones closer to right up there. There's nothing in that back section.
Nothing that we're aware of now, there's no guarantees with some of those, when those cemeteries were restored. I'm assuming that section was the primary area, but stones could have been moved or whatever, but it's very unlikely that there would have been a burial back there.
We didn't even personally probe that entire area,
Did you? Okay.
that whole field. We probed about every inch of it. It's a pretty.
I mean, I assume that the Pioneer Cemetery is wants it or would okay with approving it,
At this point, they've had questions and
recommended it.
and I've tried to answer all those questions. They haven't recommended it at this point, but we wanted to get your input to see if,
I don't have any problem. I would prefer it on the north side of the fence post for kind of liability purposes, but right on the fence line. I don't have a huge problem with it. I really.
I really don't either. Are we under any kind of time frame here, Sue, or?
We want to get it done here before
Yeah.
we start harvesting. We really need to get that done. It's,
Again,
It is
like I say, with the designation of the Pioneer Cemetery, there are certain restrictions with historic houses, and I just want to make sure legally we don't do something wrong, because once it's designated a Pioneer Cemetery, you can't X, Y, or Z.
and we'd be willing, I know he said he's not selling plots, but we'd be willing to buy those, that whatever area as plots.
Well, and that's the other thing is a
Have your
typical,
headstone be a pole.
You know,
I know.
No trespass.
By that, whatever it
Yeah.
be, 10 square feet or whatever.
a typical plot is 11 by 4.
Yeah.
And so if we did it along the fence line, the fact that there's going to be a guide wire supporting that pole, they would potentially need two plots. And so, and again, they've agreed to purchase those from.
Does somebody rent the rest of the ground?
No,
Is that the rest of the ground farmed, or is that just how it's mowed?
the gentleman that mows the farm or the cemetery, we have an agreement with him that we allow him to make hay off of that other section
Okay,
couple, 3 times a year. So
Like I said, I don't have a problem with it as long as, like Don said, we're not overseeing and violating our restrictions to the Pioneer Cemetery. And as far as liability issues, I want to confirm from REC that, they're responsible for the pole and anything it falls on, I guess.
you know, those are basically my concerns is,
okay.
the closer to the fence line it is, the better for mowing and all that kind of stuff, so,
Yeah, we would put it, I guess the thought is we would put it immediately to the south side of the fence, right along the fence line.
Good.
So it's not in the way of the gentleman making hay either.
well, if you could get those questions answered and everything seems like it'll work, I mean, we could probably get it approved
Keep it on the agenda if you can get answers as soon as
Okay.
you can.
as soon as you get the answers, have mine put on the agenda, if
Okay.
everything checks out. I don't think there's an opposition to it, it's just we want to make sure our bases are covered.
So the only other point to make is the meter that is for the gentleman who owns the shed. The Mayberries would like to move that meter onto his property, just on the edge, again, on that fence line. And that shouldn't affect him.
Does that require another pole?
No, it's just the meter that they would trench over to the pole for the lines.
You have to put the meter on something, can't set it on the ground.
Yeah, well,
Have you
They
talked
can
to
do a
this gentleman
pedestal.
about this, or this
Yeah.
person about it?
He doesn't even reside in the state. He lives in Florida.
I guess,
So the point is,
If
he
you're-
may want that meter on his building, so that other issues don't arise. I mean, if they're gonna do that, is he aware of this? That's what I
I
meant
don't
by,
have a way to contact him. Like I said, he doesn't even live in the state. And see, originally, he doesn't even have. I'm trying to think of how big that area is, but that was never supposed to be split. And Alicia, you can kind of testify to that. Those two parcels were never supposed to be split. And there was, basically some funny business that went on. And they did that. They pushed it through without getting that approved.
yeah.
And so that's
Yeah.
why, that,
The only hesitation is moving something without at least their knowledge,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
whether that be REC or a certified.
Because if you're having to move their meter and that's an expense that somebody's gonna have to.
We're paying for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be an.
Well, if you shut, in this case, if you're gonna shut off power to somebody else's, you don't know what it does, did it reset their freezer, what's in the barn? Nobody really knows, you don't know what it could cost, that's just. I think they should at least have knowledge, or hopefully,
Right.
There should be an address at least that you could send them a
And probably
notification.
REC could.
Yeah.
REC probably has that. They
Yeah.
must have a
Do that.
contact.
Where they send them.
somebody's got contact information, and honestly, neighbors should know what's going on. If they're moving my meter, I better know.
Exactly.
And I would say RAC needs to contact them if they are gonna move their meter. And if there's gonna be an
Yeah,
expense
because
like on
again,
this,
if it's a freezer and it's full of meat, maybe you don't see them come in and do whatever, or somebody else comes
if it was
in.
my building, I want the meter on my building, yeah, or close to it, you know, whether it requires trenching or whatever it might be, that's obviously an expense, but there's probably 75, 80 feet from where his meter is to the building.
I would say if you could get those answers, we'd be more than amicable.
Should come back to you.
Yep. Yeah, we'll just keep it on the agenda and then we'll table it if there's no more information brought to us and until we can. I mean, we'll try to get it done as timely as we can, but again,
Yeah, corn's drying fast.
a little more information.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Jaden? Next, we got Jaden Shekel, Jackson County Engineer, Esquire.
Good morning.
Morning. The only thing on our agenda today is to approve final plans for next summer's fog seal. It's on Z20, starting from Highway 64, going north, to Spragueville, not going through city limits. I've had discussions with the city of Spragueville, like we've learned from the past with Springbrook. But so they don't want to go, they don't want to contribute to the project for it to go through city limits. So it's going up to the city limits on the south and skipping through city limits, starting again on the north end of city of Spragueville, and then continuing north, about 4.5, 5 miles to where the asphalt meets the concrete.
Past the S corner.
Yes. Yep.
How far, yeah, I guess approximately. How far is that? A quarter mile from the corner from the stop sign in Springville, south and north?
Like basically what's the length of city limits? I'm gonna guess city limits are probably north south about a half mile in length.
You find Springville, you gotta get it put in Springville, it'll come up. It'll come up.
Keep going. Right there.
So I mean, the only reason I asked that, Jade, is because when we did it on what I call the Springbrook Highway, I was shocked how far that went out there. And
Oh yeah, it's so if you actually zoom out, it's gonna be same scenario, I guess, as Springbrook, to where city limits are quite a ways
goes south.
south and north of the stop sign there at the center of town. So here's city limits on the south end. Sorry, no, you're okay.
So that don't give us a whole lot of stretch right there to 64. That's minimal to.
Mhm.
Is that about a mile?
About 3/4 of a mile.
And that's all new. Both of them sections are new,
Yeah.
or not new, but I'm gonna say in the
Yeah.
last 5 years anyway.
So when it was overlaid, again, that was prior to my time, but each city's under a certain size either can elect for the county to keep so this is a farm to market extension, through the city limits, and Spragueville's under the population threshold, drawing a blank on that exact number. But basically, for an FM extension, they can either elect for us as the county to keep the money, and then basically in turn, we are responsible for the maintenance, or they can elect to keep the money, and in turn, they are responsible for the maintenance. So Spragueville is one town that they elect to keep their FM money, so I just don't, and that was the same with Springbrook, so I don't want to spend our county FM money to do the portion for the city when they keep their FM money. So, yes, it's going to be a long stretch though, or visually. It's not like it's going right up to where the homes
Yeah,
start. It's
no,
gonna be
I would
quite a way
agree,
south.
and I would agree with you that there's no sense in us paying for that when they kept the money all these years or whatever it's been, and.
Cause that's what the money's intended for, is for the maintenance of that FM extension.
Mhm.
What cities do with it, it's not.
And you have something in writing from their council or from who to?
Email from the mayor.
From there, okay. Because, yeah, their expense to do it in future would be much more while the equipment is there and
And there's a chance, like. So this is the Fog Seal plan for next summer. There'll be one the following summer. If they elect, there will be a contractor in performing this work for the foreseeable future. Anyway, so.
I would make a motion to approve the Z20 fog seal final plans as presented.
I would second that.
We got a motion by Mike, second by Nin to approve the Z20 fog seal final plans. And that also, that's plans for the December letting.
Correct, yep.
Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Both crews have been, both crews, we have two crews, reclaiming right now, and don't want to say it's given this past summer where we've had a lot of rain, but it's getting dry out there. So they're gonna keep on going until we're starting to see where we're not getting proper compaction and pull the pin until we can get some moisture, but it's expected to go through at least this week yet.
Okay,
But
we finished up on 216 yet, or?
nope, they're still working on dirt. Right over halfway now.
Good. Any other questions?
Making
for Ken?
headways. I
It's
sure
looking good.
appreciate your operator out there bright and early. I meet him early.
And I drove both areas last week reclaiming. It's, couldn't ask for it to look any better. They're doing perfect. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, I mean, again, it's one of them things, be patient because it needs a good rain.
It
It
does
needs
take
to be
time.
bladed a couple times.
Once that's done,
understand.
it's nice. But once it settles, after that first month is really nice, in my opinion.
Yeah, even 42nd Street where it got rained on. As they're doing it, basically, it got pretty soggy, mushy, and now you drive it and it's very nice.
Just takes time.
Gotta settle.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jaden.
Miss Lisa.
Morning.
This morning, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 2nd, 2025 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorize publication in the official newspapers.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to approve the minutes of the September 2nd, 2025 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in official newspapers. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $302,054.23.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants on the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $302,054.23 as listed. Any other discussion? There was a $50,000 payment towards our new voting machines and stuff. There was a lot of rock. There was some gas in there. But those were the big items that stood out to me other than that, so. With all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I need a motion to authorize signatures on a handwritten warrant to Jeff Lynch for $50 to replace a canceled warrant for 2 township trustee meetings. Again, this is one of those warrants that was written for him. He is a township trustee. A year ago, he was issued these. He did not redeem them in a timely manner. We have this option that says after a year, we cancel them. In the meantime, he took them to the bank and cashed them. So we need to rewrite these checks for $50.
So, with that being
It's a
said,
stop payment check, or there's not like a stop payment put on it.
okay, but our procedure says he needs to cash in that time of the manner. He did not.
But he is allowed to do exactly what he's doing.
And we agreed to it.
Well, you said state law says you got what,
Shelley,
3 or 5?
That's our
years?
procedure, of course. We went through.
so I mean,
I
We're
think
doing
we're
exactly-
investigating after the last time where somebody didn't cash their meeting. There's going to be an administration charge. I think if it goes beyond a certain
I'm
point.
not sure
where
we can legally do that. Because we haven't incurred, the only cost we've incurred is to rewrite the check. We didn't put like a stop payment or anything on it. It's just
No, I know, but when we went through this before with checks that weren't cashed in a timely manner that were wrote to us, we had to go back and ask them, whoever wrote the check, to see if they would write another, because legally they didn't have to write another one to us.
That's correct.
So this is the same type of scenario, so if we wanted to say, hey, you know, let's do this in a timely manner from now on.
Can we,
We send a lot of checks.
can we go forward, maybe moving forward where we're trying to get more direct deposit type of things?
You know, we've tried to do that as today is a claims day, as claims are paid, or as checks are sent out this week, Mary includes in a form for ACH. We're
But
trying to get as many
if we,
people as
if we
possible.
get people that we have to do this on, this automatic, can we make a ruling or whatever that this, since we've had to do this for you, now you have to file an ACH?
I don't know what our obligation is when it comes to that. I'm not sure if we can make anybody, but just like payroll, I think everybody but one, 2 employees are ACH. I know that all new employees have to be ACH. I know that we have, well,
I mean, going forward, I would like to see any town trust, anybody new coming on, that's how it is.
I would agree with you.
And then anybody who
Reappointed.
either reappointed or where we're having to, they're having a history of, okay, you've had this, we're having to make this effort, so now going forward, you have to be an ACH.
I mean, I can go out and see if there's other counties that have a policy on this if you'd like.
I mean, this is not a large issue, but it could be at some point, and it would have to be addressed, and if it's their it's a responsibility.
There is a cost to reissuing checks.
Absolutely.
There is a cost to issue a check, it's manpower, it's time,
That's kind of where we
There
said,
is
out of that $50, then should there be a $10 fee taken off or a whatever,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many checks are gonna be in today's claims. We would hope that everybody would have them in a timely manner, but
yeah.
And honestly, we appreciate that they're volunteering and doing this, but let's do it right.
again, because it may be minute, but it's tax dollar money.
Do we have a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I would second.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve and authorize signatures on a handwritten warrant to Jeff Lynch for $50 to replace a canceled warrant for 2 township trustee meetings as presented. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
I need a motion to accept, place on file, and authorize chair and auditor signatures on the county recorder's report of fees collected for the month of August 2025 in the amount of $47,575.16.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to accept, place on file, and authorize chair and the auditor signatures on the county recorder's files. Our county recorder's report of fees collected in the month of August 25 for the amount of $47,575.16. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Motion carries.
There are several things that are behind the scenes when it comes to the elections and voter registration and security. And in some of the going back and making sure that we've dotted our i's and crossed our t's, I need to update the Jackson County voting system security policy. This is a confidential record. So I just need you, basically what it is a policy that says who has access to where. So we haven't done it for a couple of years, and with the change in personnel in the auditor's office, I wanted to take the time today to ask for a motion to approve the Jackson County voting system security policy dated 9/9/25.
Is it on our agenda?
It's on her agenda.
Okay. I mean, obviously it needs to be updated,
It
right?
does.
Yeah, I would make that motion.
Second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve the Jackson County voting system security policy dated 9/9/25. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's all that I have for the board today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Luann. You have the floor.
Good morning.
Undivided attention.
What's that?
Undivided attention.
Undivided attention? Just what I needed. Okay, calendar for this week.
Tomorrow is a busy day. At 9 a.m., it is Nin's turn on KMAQ's Just Talk. And then at 1 o'clock, she has a 0 to 5 in 60 minutes / family support community advisory board meeting by Zoom. At 4 p.m. is the Veterans Affairs Commission meeting in the committee room for any of you. Also at 4 o'clock, I tentatively have Ports of Eastern Iowa meeting by Zoom for Nin, but I haven't received confirmation of that. At 5 o'clock is the ECIA council meeting in Dubuque or by Zoom for Mike. Thursday, September 11th at 10 a.m. is a Mississippi Valley Workforce Business Committee meeting by Zoom for Don. And at 11 o'clock is the Jackson County Area Tourism Association meeting by Zoom for any of you. Monday, September 15th at 6 p.m. is the Together We Build Joint Board and Steering Committee meeting for Don and Nin at Together We Build building. And our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, September 16th at 9 a.m. And that afternoon at 1 o'clock, I tentatively have a safety committee meeting for Nin. At 3:30 is the Maquoketa River Watershed Management Authority Executive Committee meeting by Zoom for Don. At 4 o'clock is a virtual aging and disability town hall meeting, excuse me, by Zoom for any of you. At 5 o'clock is a Jackson County Economic Alliance Board meeting at Innovate 120 or by Zoom for Don. Also at 5 o'clock, I tentatively have a Conservation Board meeting for any of you that wanted to attend that. And at 7 o'clock, I tentatively have a Board of Health meeting in the community room or by Zoom for Nin. Actually, I'm not sure that's tentative anymore. Otherwise, the only business I have is discussion and possible action on Dittmer recycling, rural recycling contract, which we have been talking about. I believe the final version that the county attorney approved is in your packet.
So we talked last week, you and I did, as far as sending it to Scotty, we made some insurance adjustments in there. And have you heard from him yesterday or no,
I did send it to him. I checked that.
You sent it last week already on Friday, correct?
Yes, but I
Yeah.
sent it to Scott Dittmer before that. And I haven't heard anything back from him. So.
Okay, the only other issue that I seen in here, most of it's this and that, but on page 10. Authorized representation for the purpose of this agreement, the parties authorized representatives are Scott and his partner, of course, and it says any current. Does that mean just one of us? Shouldn't that be a quorum? I mean, I'm not gonna make a decision personally without
I
conferring
would
with
say
my.
it should say Jackson County Supervisors.
I don't know. I maybe should have questioned that with John beforehand. John approved this, so correct?
That's my understanding.
So I don't know if that means that one of us can make a decision. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
And I don't think that's right.
Right.
I guess
For
maybe that.
for the
unless that's
county,
something
it
else.
should say, I would say Jackson County Supervisor.
Board.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
under what authorized representatives, for what purpose? For the purposes of agreement.
Well, and that was the question, yeah.
You know, can one person talk to them? Or does it have to be, because if you put all three supervisors gonna be there, then it has to be an official meeting. You know, if it's one supervisor, they can talk and address individual concerns. All discussions need to be approved by the board. I would hope in here that should be spelled out, final approval on the board of supervisors, you know.
It just caught my eye and I just
Yeah.
didn't know if I should.
That, I guess, just clarification on that.
For them, you list both parties. So
Maybe it should say and or. But.
I wonder if John's available. I don't know if they're probably busy up there.
He's got 2 trials today. Be a fit. Well, if we haven't heard back from Dimmer anyway, we got a week to clarify. Right?
Actually, no, we would approve it, then it would go to him for signature
Okay.
also, correct?
I think it works either way.
I know that Brian has reviewed this.
I'm sorry.
I know that Brian has reviewed this, so that wasn't a concern of his. Because I worked with him when it, concerning the insurance requirements. So. I don't know how much they read it, I just know that,
To me, authorized representative doesn't mean approving authority. That means just any one of us can talk to them if we have a concern.
And that's probably correct.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that one of us is not making a decision ahead without the board's approval,
But also going with that, that's saying you gotta talk to both parties. That you just can't talk to Scott. The way that reads, cause it says and. Which means you would have to talk to both parties.
I don't know.
That is a point, because I know, his partner had some health issues, so.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe we need some clarification. I don't know if we want to take a recess and see if Brian's available, or if, we want to table it. I mean, I guess I'm okay with the contract. I'm just curious.
that
to
little
make
segment
sure-
on
Yeah.
how it should truly read.
Yeah,
And maybe that's a question for Scott and whatever, how his business relationship is right now. Maybe things have changed.
every time, whether it be through the city, my experiences, or through the experiences here with Scott, I've never seen any other guy. It's
No,
always
I haven't
been
either.
Scott, so
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like listing the two, this person and this person doesn't automatically
A formality.
warrant, you have to talk to both of them, you know, if they have a designated representative. So be it, it's up to them to relay between the two, but, you know, and that's just off their demonstration. When they come here, it's usually Scott
Maybe
Dever.
that shouldn't say the exact name and it should say Ditmore Recycling
Company
Representative.
official.
Yeah, or Scott or designated representative, you know.
I just think we've picked it here for a couple of months already. I think we need
Yeah.
some clarification on it. I don't know.
I gotta go down and talk to them anyway, so I'll go down afterwards, so why don't we push it till next week and get that clarified and.
I would make a motion to table that
So
request. To approval.
Second.
got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to table the contract for Ditman Recycling, disposal of recyclables. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Board and commissions, did you guys have anything?
Can't remember where it was.
Didn't have anything either, so. That being said,
Motion to adjourn.
I would second.
got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to adjourn the meeting. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. It's nice and cool, warming up. Enjoy the weekend.
Good.